Well, hey, sixth graders, welcome back. Here we are after spring break. Welcome back again. Again. Okay, so after doing it, taking a break, doing it, taking a break, now we're going to be doing it again. And as you probably heard, it looks like the online schooling thing is going to go to the end of the school year. If you haven't heard that, I'd be kind of amazed, but it is. Nonetheless, at least for these next two lessons, I'd still like you to use your notebook and get a piece of paper and stuff like that. Even though we're probably not going to get together and grade them, I haven't decided if I'm going to do a quiz. If I do, I'll make it open notes and you can use your notebook. So there's an advantage. Plus, taking the notes will really help you, with the little questions after the videos and stuff. So just go ahead and do it. Get a piece of paper handy, take out your notebooks, and we'll just kind of do it in the I kind of like that. It's a little bit of a traditional teaching technique, and it works, so that's why we're going to do that. There's going to be the online lesson here today, and then there's going to be a second one with another little project for you to research, again, about a slides presentation. I'll tell you more about that at the end of the lesson. Anyhow, here we are. Today's lesson, we're going to learn we're going to go over the clouds thing. You did your clouds project. Go over the different types of clouds, and then start talking about the different kinds of weather that the clouds can make, the different kinds of precipitation, and then get into some severe weather situations and things like that. Okay, so have your notebook out, please, and this should be assignment number 30. We'll call it Types of Weather. Types of weather. Yeah, it might seem a little bit strange to be using the notebook, even though we're not going to be getting back into class. We're going to be doing the online learning to the end of the school year. But think of it as having a souvenir. You'll have a keepsake, a memory of, oh, remember when we were on quarantine? Weren't those, wonderful days? So anyhow, let's get on with the lesson, okay? Different types of weather. I know you've heard of rain, sleet, snow, hail, that kind of stuff. What the heck is that? And let's go over what you did with the clouds. We're going to start with the reviewing your clouds kind of idea. Now, the thing about clouds is as you go on through life, you'll notice that no two skies are the same. Every two skies you ever see in your whole life will be different from every other two skies, unless it's just pure blue, you know what I mean? But the different cloud shapes, and there's the infinite variety, inexhaustible. But there are certain types of clouds that you'll see over and over. And when you understand how they work and what's going on, they can become very familiar to you. And I don't know, I think it's kind of fun to be able to look up at the sky. And a lot of people, they'll see like, I see a bunny rabbit. I see a choo-choo train. It's kind of nice to be able to say, hey, I see a cumulus cloud. Or my favorite, which is the cumulonimbus. When you see one, you say, oh, there's a thunderstorm going on over there. Just to be able to read the sky a little bit, I think is being in touch with the universe around you. It's kind of a worthwhile thing in life. And that's one thing that science is good at, is helping us understand how the universe works. So anyway, what are the types of clouds? Let's get into it. Okay, this first part here is going to be about condensation and clouds. So everybody write this down. This is about, you remember we have evaporation, condensation, precipitation, and runoff. Condensation is when the vapor turns into a liquid, okay? And so you've all exhaled on a cold window and you've seen the condensation show up there. Okay, and we did that little lab in the class where you had the glass with the ice in it. Well, remember when they had water form on the outside of the glass, it wasn't coming from inside the glass. It's not like the glass was leaking. The warm, moist air around it cooled down, and the little molecules of water vapor stuck together because they were moving slow enough to become water liquid. Okay, and that's called condensation, right? Okay, so remember, water vapor, it's a gas where the molecules aren't attached to each other. They're just floating around. It's invisible. Liquid water is when they're kind of connected, but they can still roll around each other. They aren't locked in place, right? That's liquid water, what we normally call water. And then there's ice, which is solid water, when they're locked in place and they can't really move because they're rigidly attached, like any solid. And now here's a very important vocabulary word. It's called dew point. It's when the air holding the water vapor cools to its dew point is when it goes from a vapor to a liquid. Remember what the dew point is when the molecules, they're moving really fast and stuff when there's really hot. Well, they slow down enough, they start sticking together. So it's a temperature that the water will turn from a vapor into a liquid, right? And that's the dew point. Everybody say dew point. DEW, like dew that's on the ground, okay? So that's a very important concept is the dew point. And here, like you can see in this picture, the guy's breath is coming. You've all seen this happen when you exhale in a winter's day. The moist, warm air comes out of your lungs, and that vapor that you can't see turns into little tiny water droplets that you can see, okay? Now write the word down, dew point. In this graph, I'd like you to take a peek at it. What this is showing the temperature here. Depending on the humidity of the water, it'll have a higher dew point, okay? So the temperature can be higher if you have more water vapor. Basically, if you have no water vapor, there is no real dew point, you know? So anyway, now again, here's a guy in the Arctic. It's all, the dew point is, it's definitely the water is turning into liquid water from a vapor. Now, this is important with weather because what happens here is as the ground gets warm, the air rises. And here's an important thing that's kind of hard to realize necessarily. Basically, if you have the idea that the air is rising, now cumulus clouds are the kind of nice day, fluffy, puffy kind of clouds that you'll see in a spring day. You go outside with weather that's like what we have now, you're probably, unless a weather system's moving through, you can see cumulus clouds. And the cumulus clouds and the rising, I want you to notice there's a flat bottom to the cloud, right? The clouds have a flat bottom. And so what's going on with that flat bottom is the air, when it's rising, it's cooling down and it's reaching the dew point there. That's where the temperature happens, where the water will turn from a vapor that you can't see, it's invisible, to liquid droplets, and then you see the clouds. Because clouds are made of bajillions of liquid droplets. Clouds are actually made of liquid. They are made of liquid water, but they're in tiny, tiny little droplets, right? And they're up in the air and floating up there in a cloud formation. And you can kind of spot where the temperature reaches the dew point. That's why there's a flat bottom to cumulus clouds on a spring day. That's kind of a fun thing to look at because clouds, there's as much water in the air beneath the cloud as there is actually in the cloud itself.